At FITC 2010, I attended Lee Brimlow's session on multi-touch and Flash. In the session, he showed a multi-touch display from 3M that you could buy commercially. I checked that out and picked it up, and since then I've been messing around with multi-touch and Flash. So the first thing I started to do with multi-touch was figure out just the raw input modes. So for example, detecting multiple points. After I got comfortable with the raw input data, I started to mess around with how we can use that data to create different types of effects. So for example, in this case, not only having the input modes, but giving them a velocity and boundaries. And of course, all this was done with livebrush in mind, in terms of how we can use multi-touch to augment the existing motion and physics controls in livebrush. So another practical example of multi-touch is in stuff like Microsoft Surface. In this case, I've just redone a version of the photo viewer. In this case, I'm pulling from Flickr based on just a keyword search. So I'm using the same code as with the ball demos, but just applying it to photographs. So in this case, we can grab multiple photographs and kind of just move them around the screen and sort them and order them and all that stuff. But the thing that's important to understand is that Flash has two input modes. It has raw touch data and it has gesture input. They don't work at the same time. So to demonstrate that, you can see here that I can grab multiple objects and I'm using raw touch data to move them around. But if I want to actually rotate and scale those using the built-in gesture recognition, you have to use the gesture input mode. So we can toggle that down here, and now we can move an image around still, but we can't move multiple because we're not responding to multiple touch points. We're only responding to one touch point and then gestures. We can search for another object, let's say cookies. And still being in the gesture mode. Switch back to raw touch data, and you can see the objects will respond the same way they did before. Now this doesn't mean you can't have multiple touch points and gestures running at the same time. It just means that if you're going to have gestures, you're going to have to respond to them manually with your own classes and objects. So that's it for now. You can grab these demos on livebrush.org, the draw demo and this Surface example. Thanks for watching.